Hey everybody, welcome back to another Longplay video, and for those of you guys over at implantgames.com, again, welcome to another episode of Let's Beat. Today we're going to be running through Mega Man 6 for the 8-bit Nintendo. This is actually the final Mega Man game for the 8-bit Nintendo I had yet to do a long play of, and here we go, here it is. So as of this video, guys, I've got all 6 Mega Man games for the 8-bit Nintendo ironed out and uploaded as long play videos with commentaries on top. So this basically wraps up my my Mega Man series of long play videos. It's been about a year's worth in the making. I think I did my first long play starting with Mega Man 2 about a year ago, so it's nice to actually have them all done, so I can take them off my plate and possibly replace them with something else that I can do a long play of. Now, for those of you guys that watched my Mega Man 5 long play, you know I was not all that thrilled with that game. It's just Mega Man 5 just left a very bad taste in my mouth. I felt a lot of the level design was really monotonous. I felt that enemy placement was cheap, and not cheap as in it was difficult or anything like that. It was just enemies were just placed to slow you down, and it just really, the game had a very poor flow, and it regurgitated a lot of the same enemies again and again and again, and by the end of the game, I was basically pulling my hair out saying, please make this end already. I was not having fun at all. It was, I don't know. I mean, it's in terms of like 8-bit Nintendo games, Mega Man 5, it's not a bad game, but I think it's definitely the weakest link in terms of the first 6 Mega Man games. Now, Mega Man 6 is often viewed kind of in the same way, I feel, or at least from what I've read on forums and various popular YouTube reviewers, things like that. A lot of people seem to not really care for Part 6, but, you know, I was really expecting to not really be blown away with this game after doing the long play video. I mean, saying blown away is a bad way to say that, because I did play this game as a kid. I knew what Mega Man 6 was like, but it was quite a few years since I last visited this game, so my memories of this game were a little foggy, just like with Mega Man 5. And I was worried that I was going to revisit this game, and I was not going to like it, just like Mega Man 5. It was going to be just as monotonous and just as repetitive. But, you know, quickly into this game, once I started playing, I realized that that wasn't going to be the case. Just right from this very first level that you see right here, there's a lot more platforming, there's a lot more tricks and traps, like on this stage especially, you got the guys that can toss fire into that oil, and if you touch the fire, when it's lit up, it's instant death, so you've got to watch out for that. And every stage in this game has a shtick like that. It's good. Whereas in Mega Man 5, they just kind of, it's just really basic platforming, nothing too special, and the enemies are, you fight the same enemies every other stage. It's stupid. But in this game, you have almost brand new enemies on every single stage, and it really keeps the whole experience fresh. And so as a result, I ended up really enjoying this playthrough. It felt fresh to me, even though Mega Man 5 did not. So, now, one thing I do want to touch up on, though, is that in my Mega Man 5 long play, I talked about how, while the stage design sucked in Mega Man 5, I thought the bosses were actually pretty good. They moved around, they were fun to fight. This game, it's the exact opposite. It's great level design and really crappy bosses that really aren't that difficult at all, and just, I don't know, the intensity that you got when fighting bosses from like Mega Man 3 or Mega Man 1 or Mega Man 2 is gone. It's just these bosses in this Mega Man game are really stupid, really, like I should say, really stupid simple. They're just, but that's a minor gripe. Everything else in this game, in my opinion, is solid. The music is actually memorable, whereas the music in Mega Man 5 is not memorable. The music in Mega Man 5 was probably the most disappointing part, because Mega Man has always had awesome music. And this Mega Man gets the job done. It's got a very solid soundtrack. You're probably not going to hum the tunes over the stuff from like the first 3 Mega Man games, but it's still got a really solid soundtrack, at least up there with Part 4 in my opinion, which also had a solid soundtrack in my opinion. Yeah, Mega Man 6, even though it doesn't get a very good rap today, I think it's actually a very solid Mega Man game and absolutely worth playing if you're into the Mega Man games. Now, this is actually one thing I forgot to mention right here, is Mega Man 6 introduces these sort of packs you can equip onto yourself, or suits of armor and things like that. You have two that you can get. One is a jet pack that actually lets you fly up into the air, and you get that, well, later on. And this one, the first one I got through fighting that last boss, is, I don't even remember the actual name for it, but basically you equip like a pack that lets you punch, and you can charge up your punch as well. And it's extremely powerful, and you can bust through blocks and things like that. You can kill certain enemies a lot faster than you would with your normal Mega Buster. It's very good. Unfortunately, it's not full screen long range, but it's cool. It's solid. It's powerful. It takes a little while to get used to, especially if you've never played this one before. But you know, it's cool. I like that addition. It's actually kind of nice that, well, Rush has basically been replaced with these packs. Whereas in Mega Man 5, it got kind of old using Rush Coil, and Rush Jet again for, you know, the third time in a row. So it was nice that they actually mixed it up in this one. Now, I don't think everybody's going to agree with me on that. I think some people would prefer the old Rush power-ups, but I actually like this change where you get the jetpack, and it doesn't ever run out of power either. Something else to note is that they don't ever run out of power. When they drain, when you stop using them, they charge back up very quickly. So it's nice. You could run through the entire stage. Hell, you could probably run through the entire game if you wanted to try to mix things up with just those power-ups, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. And here's another example of some quality stage design, in my opinion. You've got these guys popping up from the ground, but you got these springs that propel you into the air, and you sort of have control over them. And you've got those platforms that you have to shoot open, and then you got the little life pellets in the air and the trees, and it's cool. It's, you know, when I was playing this stage, I was like, man, this is pretty good level design. It's not extremely difficult, but you can, you know, one false move and you could be killed instantly. So that's good level design in my opinion. It really mixed things up. It made things interesting for me as I was playing. Mega Man 5 barely does that at all, and it's terrible for that. I know some of you guys are probably hating me right now. You're just like, shut up. You bitched about Mega Man 5 for 5 hours on the last Longplay video. You have to keep doing it on this one? Well, I don't really know what to say to that, but sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, here's another example. Not trying to sound too negative, but I'm just trying to point out the obvious is, you know, this very simple pattern. Boss, he puts up his shield, he jumps and bounces against the wall, and when he lands, it shoots out at you. It's very slow, it's not fast, so it's really extremely easy to avoid. And yeah, so yeah, like I was saying, I love the level designs in this game. They're pretty well done, and everything else is solid too. Like the music and the visuals are good, they get the job done, but the bosses are the weak link in this. I could also say the boss weapons are weak, and they are, but I don't really care about those as much, so long as I can get through the game mostly with just my my plasma pistol, or Mega Man's stock weapon, whatever they call it. So and this level has another gimmick, and that is the basically the fans, which I think again is pretty cool. They were able to mix up the level design a little bit, and now you got spikes up there you got to be careful about not to touch them. And then you got these little platforms that sort of rotate over after you jump on this. You got to be quick. Again, pretty solid level design. It's mixing things up. It's making you actually work a little bit, whereas in Mega Man 5, not so much. So, and here we got the jetpack, and what you do is you jump, and you basically just hold the jump button, and you'll blast your way up, and it's cool. You can actually sort of skip through some sections in this game by using the jetpack, and I kind of like that. It lets you kind of go through certain sections in multiple ways. You don't have to just, you know, always go the same route, and that's pretty cool. I like that sort of thing as well. Mega Man 2 actually had a lot of that, which was awesome. You didn't always have to go the same way when you played the same stage again, and it's a little bit the same way in this, and you know, that actually leads me into something else that I haven't really touched up on yet, is that some levels in this game actually feature multiple paths, and they feature alternate boss rooms. You always fight the same boss in whichever boss room you go to, but you'll have a choice of 2 ways you can go in a stage. And depending on which way you go, you might get a special item or something like that. Not a special item, but you'll get like an icon that appears on the boss selection screen. And if you get all the... I died right there. I knew I was gonna die. But as I was saying, you know, I forgot what happens, but... oh yeah, if you get all of the correct icons listed on the boss selection screen, you'll get beat, just like you did in Mega Man 5. Now, in Mega Man 5, to get beat, you had to spell out Mega Man 5. And they were actually gathered through icons littered throughout each stage in the game. And that was cool, but I kind of like this alternate path kind of thing. It kind of spices things up a little bit, and it's, you know, it's actually kind of a little bit of an incentive for replay value. You can try to explore the other parts of the stages, which you couldn't really do in most of the other Mega Man games. So... And I thought that was a pretty cool addition. I saw some people really complain about that, but the thing is, the alternate paths are not mandatory. You don't have to, it doesn't matter which path you go to. And when I was a kid, I used to think that it did matter. It only matters if you want beat. So, if you get the wrong paths on each stage, and you fight the wrong alteration of the boss, it doesn't matter. You can still go to Dr. X's lair and then Dr. Wily's stage and beat the game. You don't have to have beat to finish the game. So I thought that was pretty cool. And some people aren't going to care for that, but I think it's pretty sweet. So something I definitely wanted to talk about and touch up on in this long play video. So this boss isn't really too difficult. He just flies over and shoots out his things, and they sort of weave in and out, and you want to jump when they're sort of together. And again, it's not very difficult, not too difficult to avoid at all. Alright, so again, the level design, as I was saying, is just, it's constantly mixed up here, and it's nice. On this part, you have to watch out for the, basically the ship that's moving up and down. If it goes down too far, you might be able to touch the spikes, and that means instant death, so you want to watch out for that. You want to just time your movement here. It's not too difficult. Just watch out for what's going on. And there's an energy tank right there. And that's basically that. Now those sort of squid things I'm attacking right here, they shoot out these missiles, and enemies like that were in a lot of the other Mega Man games, but usually they'd shoot out a missile that you could destroy. You can't destroy the missiles from those squid-looking ones, so you want to try to just destroy the guy as quickly as you can, and the homing missiles will just disappear. And now we're at the boss. He basically does this ball thing where he rolls up and smashes into a wall. Again, not too difficult to dodge. He calls out these snowflakes, and yeah, it's pretty bare bones stuff, nothing too crazy here. So again, just keep focused, jump over his ball when he turns into that form, and you should be good to go. Now, typically when I play Mega Man games, as I've stated in past Longplay videos, is that I usually like to just play with my stock weapon. I don't usually use the Robot Master weapons, but at the end of the game, when you have to revisit all the Robot Masters again, and you have to use, well, when you have to just beat them again, I decided to bust out their weapons just to show you which Robot Master weapons work well against certain bosses. So, if you want to know what weapons do what against certain bosses, just watch towards the end of the video there, and I will do that. But yeah, as usual, I usually just use my the stock weapon that Mega Man starts out with, and that's just kind of how I'm used to playing these games. I don't think I've ever really focused on using the weapons, even as a kid. It was just one of those things. Even in Mega Man 2, as broken as Metal Man's weapon is, I never really used it, even as a kid, up until recently. So it's just kind of one of those things that I just like to play with the basic weapon. It makes it a little more of a challenge for me. It makes it a little more interesting for me. Maybe I'm ADD or something like that, but it's just, you know, that's how I like to play. Now, the jetpack can actually make things fun a little bit. You can fly over certain enemies, which I tried doing unsuccessfully right there, but there are points where you can just fly over the enemies if you want to. It's pretty cool. It's fun. Again, it's not something that's mandatory, but if you want to mess around, you want to, you know, try to mix the experience up a little bit, you can. Which in some of the Mega Man games, you really can't. So... And, this is where basically the game starts splitting the stages up for you. And basically it's the bottom 3 stages that you can pick from on the boss selection screen, and it's the right middle one. Those 4 stages all have alternate paths you can go to. Some have destroyable blocks, like you see there to the left. before the screen exited anyways. And yeah, basically you have to get the correct path on each of those 4 stages in order to gather beat. Your jetpack and your punching thing, whatever you want to call it, you get those from the first 2 bosses I fought in this video. Now here's another sort of gameplay gimmick, is you got this water that's on the ceiling, and just as you would be if you were underwater, when you jump through it, you jump higher, and there's this long pit of spikes right here, and you really got to time it right in order to get through it. So just be a little careful there, make sure you time it right, wait for the water to be as far down as it possibly can before you make that jump, and then you should be good. And those little buggers right there, in case you couldn't tell, you have to actually charge up your beam and flip them over, otherwise you can't destroy them. Now there might be some other Robot Master weapon that can destroy them, but it's not really something I toyed around with, so I'm not sure what works on them, if anything does work on them. Now these guys right here are kind of funny, because I didn't even notice it until, well, basically my second playthrough in this game, is that those guys are kind of like recreations of Mega Man 3 enemies. The little missiles that are clouded at the end of Snake Man's stage, and when you shoot them, they basically, the cloud disappears and they fall. Or at least in this, they fall into the water. In Mega Man 3, they would just shoot straight at you. So it's actually kind of cool to see that revisited here in this game. Kind of like an homage to Mega Man 3. And this is the alternate path for this boss right here, Centaur Man. If you just went down that ladder instead of jumping over there with the jetpack, you would go to the other version, and you would not get the beat part. So again, if you want to gather beats, you have to go through this part right here. He can be a pain in the ass, but at the same time, sometimes he's not. Like right now, he's super easy. Basically, he just shoots out this pellet, and it splits into a bunch of different bullets. But he's also got this attack where he freezes everything, which he just did at the very end. And sometimes you'll just get the bad card out of the deck, and he'll freeze you every single time he comes out. And it's like, you can't really do anything about that. But sometimes you get there and you're lucky, kind of like I was, and he just shoots out his shot, which is really easy to dodge. It's stupid easy to dodge. It's so slow. I really think they should have made it faster, but, you know, whatever. point is, it's kind of... He can be really easy, but sometimes he can be challenging, and it really depends on what attack he does. But I think he's actually the most unpredictable boss in the game. Every other boss is pretty simple. More spikes, so as usual, just be careful. If you've never played a Mega Man game before, then, well, I'll just tell you, don't touch the spikes. Spikes are bad in Mega Man games. They're usually instant death. Actually, I think they're always instant death. I don't think there's a single part in any Mega Man game where a spike doesn't kill you in one hit. You know, I could be wrong. There might be a part in one game that I don't recall, and, but basically just stay away from the spikes. It's usually instant death. And the only enemy in this game I'm not so sure about are those little two guys I just hit. Basically, they come running at you, and when you hit them for the first time, something flies off their head, and they just go ballistic. When they're in that mode, you know, they go crazy, so watch out for them. So, what you want to try to do is destroy them as quickly as you can with 2 quick shots, and then you should be good to go. But if you just shoot them once, they're going to go crazy on you, and they might hit you quite a few times. So, just be careful about that. And you want to take this block here, or these blocks, go through these blocks to get to this boss. This is the correct path again to get the proper beat part. And this guy, just like most of the other bosses in this game, really is not difficult at all. So basically what he does, he just jumps around and he throws out his mace ball thingy that doesn't have a chain on it somehow, and that's basically it. You can shoot him when he's throwing his ball, when he's jumping around. Sometimes you can hit him if you time it right. If you aim it towards his feet while he's jumping, sometimes you can still hit him when he's on his way down. I was trying to do that in this boss fight, and it really wasn't working out too well, but sometimes it does work, so you could try that. Otherwise, the best way to go about beating this guy is probably just waiting for him to throw his ball out, because at that point he's wide open. You can just wail on him with some charge shots, and that's basically that. He's the kind of boss that you don't want to just keep firing your shot repeatedly, because it'll just take a while. You might as well just charge up, wait for him to throw his ball, and then hit him. Alright, we're at the last guy, and then we're on to the 2 final stages, and then we'll be wrapping up this final Mega Man long play video of mine, or final 8-bit Nintendo Mega Man long play video of mine. So again, as you guys can probably tell if you've been paying attention to how the levels are laid out and the enemies there and so forth, there's been a lot of enemy variety so far, and you know, like I was saying, in Mega Man 5, you didn't really have that variety. There were a couple stages, like Crystal Man's level, where you had, you know, sort of like enemies specific to that stage, but there weren't nearly as many of them. Most levels regurgitated the same kinds of enemies again and again. This game, on the other hand, gives you a lot of variety and so forth, and it's very cool. So again, while the bosses really aren't that great in this game, or at least the main 8 Robot Masters, some of the Wily Stage bosses are fine, but you know, the levels are well done. There's good enemy variety. The stages have some cool tricks and traps and things like that. It's nothing too terribly challenging, but it's you know, it's cool. So if you're watching to this point in the video, and perhaps you've played this game before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I'd like to hear your opinions on this game. I'd like to hear your opinions on the other Mega Man games as well. What do you think is the best one? And what do you think of Mega Man 5 compared to this game? So, you know, if you have any comments like that, be sure to post them below. I'd definitely love to hear your thoughts. Those spring guys are kind of reminiscent of the springs that go along the ground in Mega Man 2. That's what they remind me of. Yeah. So this guy, Yamamoto, I don't even know how to pronounce it. He's probably, I don't want to say the most challenging, but, you know, you do have to watch out for his three-way shot when he goes up into the air. It doesn't always fly down in the same direction. It depends on where you are, so it's something you gotta watch out for. It looks like he does it either straight down or he does it at like 45-degree angles. And with 3 shots coming out, it sort of hits a nice little spread. So definitely something you gotta watch out for. Now, as with Mega Man 4 and Mega Man 5, you basically have this sort of fake last boss stage that you go to. After you complete this whole map, just like Mega Man's 4 and 5, you go to Dr. Wily's stage. And again, through Dr. Wily's stage, you have to go through another few levels, and I kind of complained about that in the Mega Man 1 long play video I did, I believe, where I talked about how Mega Man 1 was so unique and compared to the rest of the games, and starting with Mega Man 4, they just kind of regurgitated the same thing again and again. You have basically 2 boss castles with some cheesy story to explain it, and yeah, Mega Man 6 is no different. Fortunately though, the level design is okay, and I think the bosses are alright too, so yeah, it gets a pass. Now this part right here, I'm going to be spending a little bit of time on. You can actually bust through this wall, but it's very, very tricky. You have to jump across those rotating platforms, and you have to make sure you don't touch the spikes, because again, spikes are bad. They kill you instantly in this game, so I probably do this part a good 20 times or so, trying to get it. It's challenging, so we'll count and see how many times I had to do it. That was 2. That was 3. Can I do it this time? That was 4. Got kind of close that time. That's 5. Ah, it took me 6 tries. Very nice. Not nearly as many tries as it took the first time. Before I actually recorded this long play, guys, I did do a sort of test run the night before, where I ran through the game to get familiar with it, and to figure out the Robot Master weapons towards the end of the game. Nice bonus here for extra lives for doing that, so it was definitely worth it. Or at least it's definitely worth doing that if you can do it without dying. On my first trial session of doing this, I actually died like 4 times trying to get that. But I was pretty determined to actually get it, and I did get it, and I'm glad I was able to get it on this playthrough too, because I was actually contemplating just skipping it, because I didn't want to die 5 times trying to get that, but I'm glad I was able to do it without dying. Even though it actually took me about 6 tries to get it, it was 6 tries without dying and being sent back to the beginning of the stage, so. Now these guys, you sort of have to hit them right in their targets on their sides, right in the center part on their sides, so it's something you gotta watch out for. I recommend just using your normal shot in these guys. Charging works, but if you're slightly off, your charge shot is going to get bounced away, and that was just a few seconds wasted of charging up. So you might as well just keep pummeling them with your shots. And they're not like other bosses where they have sort of an invulnerability time after you hit them, so you can keep pummeling them and you'll notice their life bar will just keep ticking away. Alright, now this is really the only boss in the game where I have to use a Robot Master weapon. And you use the Tomahawk on this guy, and it kind of shoots up at an angle, and it's perfect for this boss, and it takes a good 3 or 4 pellets off his life every time you hit him. Now the reason I say I have to do this is you'll notice the stage is constantly bouncing up and down, which kind of makes things disorienting. And you've got those rocks that are constantly dropping as well. And the boss actually does not go down that far on that far right wall, so it's actually kind of difficult to hit him with even a charged shot. So what I would suggest doing is using the Tomahawk weapon on that boss, and you shouldn't have a problem. Otherwise, if you don't, you might have a problem. So. Now I just got an energy tank there, and just like my other long play videos, I ended up with a massive amount of energy tanks and lives by the end of this playthrough, and there was even one point at one of the stages a few levels back where I saw an energy tank and I just skipped it because I had so many. I was like, I'm not even gonna need this, I'll just keep going. So basically, if you play well, guys, I mean, you don't You won't really need the energy tanks in this game. I just wish I could say the same thing about Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 on the Xbox 360 and Wii. And those are challenging Mega Man games. And you need every energy tank you can get in those. So, alright guys, you know what I'm going to do is just cut off the commentary portion here and just sort of leave you to the game and the music. So, if you have any other questions about the game or anything you have questions about, just post a comment below. Otherwise, just watch the video. This game isn't too terribly difficult. It's not, definitely not the hardest Mega Man game on the NES, that's for sure. So, but if you do have any other questions, just post them below. And for those of you guys new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this in the future. And for those of you guys that already are subscribed, thanks for watching as usual. And I'll be back with some new videos very shortly. So, until next time guys, take it easy. Thanks for watching.